Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, coming at you live to talk about episode 8 of the anime series Net-Juu no Susume. And holy hell, was I on the edge of my seat. My breath caught in my throat throughout the entirety of this episode, starting with that little recap at the beginning. I'm like, oh my god, it's a nightmare. It's going to be a whole recap episode. We're not going to see where it goes from where we left off. And sure enough, no, it was just a little bit part recap at the beginning, and we immediately pick up with Yuta creating that character, much as I have been speculating, it seems like forever and a day now, that he was going to recreate the character. They did in fact know each other from the former MMO, and he recreated his character Hearth in the hopes of burgeoning her awareness, reaching out to Moriko and jogging her memory and just trying to assure for himself that this wasn't all a coincidence, that it wasn't all, insanity that he had just concocted in his own mind. And sure enough, I loved it. I almost wept. I almost wept to tears of joy when Moriko has that recognition. When she figures out, he writes the name in English, so she doesn't immediately recognize it. And I'm like, oh man, they are so just trying to extend this as long and excruciatingly as possible. Them figuring out who they are to each other. They're just trying to keep passing the buck and keep stretching it out. And here's one more way to do that. She can't read the English, and but when finally she's thinking about it and she pointedly asks him, he reveals the name is Hearth. And I just loved the joy, the recognition all throughout the latter half of the episode that Moriko was experiencing. The first half, we learn a lot about Yuta and his having been adopted and losing that adoptive family and, having to downsize aspects of his life and seeking refuge online, which is something we already knew, but we didn't know the finer details, the finer points as to why. And it just cuts them much further from the same cloth, that much more from the same cloth. He and Moriko, in wanting to escape the outside world and finding themselves, finding a joy, a level of joy and satisfaction and semblance in the MMO community. And I absolutely loved and adored the recognition on her part. I was so proud of her for going and picking up the phone once Hearth logs out, and she's, she knows it's him, and she's making that connection in her mind, but she needs the confirmation in the here and now. Whereas Yuta, it took him a little while to work up the courage to get to this point. Moriko immediately goes to her phone and calls him, and I was like, oh, he better not miss the call. Thankfully, he's just coming out of, having taken a shower or something. He just happens to get to the phone, and they have this conversation. And when she gets the confirmation and she's rolling around on the bed, I am so giddy. I'm like misty-eyed, and I'm laughing, and I'm like, oh my God. It was so satisfying. As a viewer, it was so just adorable. And I loved it, and, again, trying to, they were playing with you all through the episode, because finally he works up the courage to let the other leg drop. Not only do we have this history going back to this older MMO, I am Hearth, that was me. He actually, in the moment, works up the courage to reveal that he is also Lily in the current game. But the battery on his phone died, so she didn't hear it, and I was like, and but then they kind of skip, and they just happen to run into each other. It almost felt like Moriko was trying, maybe looking for him, like he has gone looking for her. It almost felt like maybe she was out looking for him, and we just happen to run into each other. But there's no dialogue to confirm that speculation on my part. They just happen to run into each other. She's starving. She's embarrassed how she looks and everything, as is usual. And he couldn't be any more smitten with her. But he's really mulling over having to reveal that he is also Lily. And so they hang out in a park. He shares some snacks with her. And she's joyous. She's jubilant. I am ear to ear grinning at how much joy she's taking out of this. And I'm just fearing, is it gonna be what I most fear? What I speculated, that when she finds out he is also Lily, she's gonna feel a level of betrayal or manipulation or something. Everything he penultimately fears is going to be her reaction, is what I've been fearing, especially in the wake of her being so, boisterous and celebratory over learning all of this, putting this all together. So I'm utmost fearful she's going to recoil and be like, "You're Lily too?" But she's already weighing how similar they are. She's already said, and all but admitted to herself, without making that final leap of recognition, they're saying the same kinds of things about her. Lily, the character in the game, and Yuta sitting here now in the real world, their appraisal of her is word for word. It's just the smallest, almost imperceptible leap for her at this point to realize they are one. But they really stave it off for the cliffhanger. Finally, after she brings up, I wanna, log into the game. I'll log back in as my male player, my main character, and you log in, and Lily will be there, and we'll all play together. And he, almost with this rage, this angst, he's like, "No, that's never gonna happen." And she feels dejected. You can see her feeling dejected and sort of just trying to save face. And I felt so much for her. I wanted to hug her right then and there. But we know why. We know why he can't play with Lily. He is Lily. And I was like, they better not end the episode without him saying something. And then he says it. He reveals it. He got up the courage and he came clean. But then they end it right when I'm thinking, oh, I hope we get a reaction. I hope we see what she thinks. Nope. Not at all. And, oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. What an episode. What an episode. For somebody like me, who just so much wants these characters to come together, and I've been in relationships like that. I've been in friendships like that, where it's like, you meet somebody and it makes you so happy. Like, you're talking to somebody on the phone and, oh, they happen to like a movie you like. And it's just like, yes, yay, this is something we have in common. It's awesome. And when they have that commonality, they both find each other and they have these commonalities, but there's still a little further to go to bring it all home, to make it a thorough marriage of these two. But my God, this episode. Like I said, I was on the edge of my seat. I was tiptoeing on eggshells, the whole way through. And ruining the idea of, oh, they're going to cut it off here. They're going to cut it off there. They're going to extend it here. And, needlessly. But it went so quickly and so much happened. So much was accomplished in aligning these two. And yet we still get a cliffhanger. You bastards! I loved this episode, if you can't tell already, and I'd just love to hear from you guys in the comments below. People have been following this show and my discussions of it. What did you think of this episode? Did it have you anxietized and just anticipating at every end of a sentence what was going to be coming next? Did it satisfy you penultimately? Were you dissatisfied by that cliffhanger ending? Anything goes in the comments below. Just love having that conversation, and I'd be really surprised if the reactions weren't the same in the fellow community out there who's been watching this show. But, if you didn't love it, let me know why. Let me know that in the comments below as well. Anything goes. Our POVs can certainly disagree. It's all about the topic of talk. And this show is worth talking about. So otherwise, that'll be pretty much it for me on this. I cannot wait for the next one. I wish I had a fast forward button to get to the next episode already. Can't believe we only have 10. There's only 2 left. Oh, man. But, yeah. I hope this video finds you well. I'll catch you all later. Peace.